Cheap house, cute neighborhood. And then you realize the deal came with a subscription you didn't know you signed up for. Unreliable basics. Water you might not trust, internet you can't count on, and a commute that eats your life. So here's the question. Are you actually saving money, or just paying your low cost of living in a different currency? In this video, we're doing infrastructure due diligence, broadband access, lead pipe risk, transit options, because the price tag on the listing is often a discount for systems that don't work. So you found it. That $180,000 house with the decent photos, the motivated seller, the yard big enough to pretend you're a lawn person now. But here's what nobody tells you. That price is just the cover charge. The real cost hides in the stuff Zillow doesn't show you, because Zillow can't list water you don't trust next to stainless appliances. It can't flag internet that quits on you the way it flags a new backsplash. And yeah, we all know the escape plan. You're done paying luxury prices to share a wall with a guy who plays EDM at 2 a.m. You want more space, a lower payment, maybe a garage that isn't also a storage unit for your dreams. You move out where it's affordable, you exhale, you start scrolling patio furniture like you've made it. Then the basics start acting off. The water has this taste you can't name. Not gross, not fine. Just weird enough that you keep doing that little sip and think thing like you're a sommelier for tap water. Your shower pressure changes mood to mood. And your plumbing doesn't just have quirks, it has opinions. Your internet? It picks the worst possible moments to disappear. You're on a job interview, you're mid-sentence, you're trying to sound competent, and suddenly you're frozen with your mouth open like a bad meme. You restart the router. Again. You learn the exact number of seconds you need to wait before plugging it back in, like you're doing tech support for yourself in 2009. And the commute. On the map, it's 22 minutes. In real life, it's a daily group project with strangers, except nobody communicates, and everyone's late. One crash, one construction cone, one, why is this light this long? And your whole schedule turns into a suggestion. So here's the thing. Low cost of living is often just a discount sticker slapped on top of broken systems. A lot of these places have older housing stock, aging pipes, and utilities that have been patched together for years because the money never quite caught up. That's the unsexy part. Deferred maintenance. Stuff that should have been fixed 10 years ago gets pushed to next year. And then next year. And then somebody sells a cute house right on top of it. Why does it happen? Thin tax base. Smaller budgets. A lot of towns are trying to cover huge, spread-out infrastructure with not enough revenue, and the math gets brutal. Roads, water lines, power equipment, broadband lines, none of it is cheap and none of it stays new. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. Upgrades don't land evenly. Some neighborhoods get fresh pavement, new mains, better service. Other neighborhoods get the leftovers. That pattern tracks with income and race way more often than people want to say out loud. That's physical redlining in plain language. The map of who gets investment first and who gets told to wait. If you want a clean way to judge a place, forget the revitalizing banners and the downtown mural tour. Use a people-first infrastructure test. Can you access it? Can you afford it? And does it protect you from risk? Water, power, transportation, broadband. Not vibes, not slogans. Because the water trap is real. Lead service lines and old municipal pipes aren't a DIY weekend project. You can replace what's inside your house, sure, but you can't easily buy your way out of what's under the street. That's why the federal infrastructure plan put billions toward replacing lead pipes and service lines, because the risk lives upstream of your faucet, and the fix takes public money and real work. And the digital trap is the modern version of the same thing. Broadband is infrastructure now. Nationally, about 7% of households lack access to adequate broadband speeds, but in rural areas that gap jumps to 27%. Even in cities, speeds and quality can be wildly uneven, and it tends to line up with who has money and who doesn't. That's how remote work freedom turns into parking lot Wi-Fi lifestyle. You start planning your day around which corner of town has a signal strong enough to upload a file. So rule 1 of cheap living. If the basics aren't reliable, you're not saving money. You're prepaying in time, health risk, and lost options. Let that sink in. And once you notice it, the next question gets ugly. Why are the same neighborhoods always the ones stuck with the worst of it? And once you notice the pattern, you start seeing the why stamped into the map itself. Ever notice how the affordable, up-and-coming zip codes somehow end up hugging a highway like it's their whole personality? That's not a coincidence. That's a receipt. Let's rewind to the interstate era. The 1956 National Interstate Highway Act kicked off this massive build. 41,000 miles of highway. It got sold as mobility, progress, the future. And sure, it connected the country, but a lot of it got built fast, built loud, and built straight through neighborhoods that didn't have the political power to say no. In the first 2 decades, the program uprooted an estimated 475,000 families and over 1 million people. And it didn't hit everyone evenly. Communities of color and low-income residents took the hit over and over because routing decisions kept finding the same targets. Places already boxed in by discrimination, places labeled blighted, places where officials could pretend they were doing cleanup instead of displacement. There's a clean, brutal example in the research. Interstate 95 through Overtown in Miami. Overtown was a thriving Black neighborhood. The highway project displaced about 10,000 residents. And it wasn't treated as some tragic accident. It often stacked on top of efforts to remove Black populations from desirable urban areas so white business districts could expand. That's not ancient history. That's the blueprint. Now let's do the neighborhood math, because this is the part that turns, "Why is this area cheap?" into, "Oh, that's why." When a highway cuts a community in half, you don't just lose a strip of land. You lose the easy walking routes that used to stitch daily life together. You lose foot traffic that kept small businesses alive. You lose the feeling that your neighborhood is one place, not two halves separated by speeding traffic. And you gain a bunch of stuff nobody puts in a listing description. Constant noise, more dangerous crossings, air that feels heavier near the ramps. A weird sense that your side of town is something people drive past, not somewhere they stop. The map becomes destiny. So when you scroll those cheap city list articles, look for the infrastructure scars. Low prices tend to cluster where opportunity got physically cut off. Fewer jobs nearby because employers move toward the interchanges and away from the chopped-up blocks. Fewer services because investment follows the clean, connected parts of the city. And the health side is not subtle. Research shows Black individuals experience 1.54 times more exposure to fine particulate matter, PM2.5, than white individuals. People of color overall face 1.28 times greater exposure. PM2.5 links to higher risks of respiratory and cardiovascular disease.